This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, the roof of Dunedin St Paul's Cathedral has been extensively damaged by a fire in the early hours of the morning. A toasted sandwich named after an over-the-top 1970s pop song could be in the running to be the best in the country. And Frankton's public golf course could be set to move if its land is needed for transport. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Sophie Morris. A fire damaged the roof of St Paul's Cathedral in Dunedin last night. Fire crews using about 8 appliances were able to bring the fire under control with relatively minor damage to the historic church.
Around 7 fire appliances plus an elevated turnable ladder were busy last night containing a fire in Dunedin St Paul's Cathedral.
While the fire wasn't large, you can see behind me that being at the height it's at, it does add some complexities to it, so it's quite challenging working at those heights, having to use aerials and go up scaffolding and things.
The alarm was raised at about 3:30 this morning, and a fire investigator says the blaze appears to have been started by accident. The church's dean, the Very Reverend Dr. Tony Curtis, says the fire was something he was not expecting to wake up to this morning.
I arrived about 4:20 this morning, and happily there'd been a really quick response from the emergency services and the fire was largely under control. Obviously it was quite a mess around the area. There was a lot of cordoned off. There were 5 appliances I think in attendance. We were just keen to see that nobody had been hurt and obviously try and assess the scale of the damage.
The fire caused some damage to the roof of the building, and the Pinex ceiling has been swollen with water. The crypt was also heavily flooded and needed to be cleaned up, but the church's altar and 100-year-old organ appear to have escaped damage.
Hopeful from what I've seen inside the building that there's nothing structural, but we'll obviously wait for the assessors to come down and have a look. We're concerned to protect the high altar and the organ, which is a really tremendous instrument which has been in 100 years this year, so we're hoping to protect that, and really it's just going to be a large clean-up job. We're going to have some work to do on that roof, and we'll just start rebuilding from now.
The 100-year-old building was insured. In Dunedin, the South Today.
A Dunedin man shot in the leg during the Christchurch terrorist shootings last year has returned to New Zealand to face the man who shot him and killed 51 others. Mustafa Boztaz is currently in quarantine at an Auckland hotel after leaving his family back home in their native Turkey. Boztaz says while he's nervous about giving his victim impact statement at the sentencing of the gunman, it's important for him to be there. He grew up in Dunedin and was a university student in Christchurch at the time of the shooting. Initially, he was not going to return for the sentencing, but wanted to be there for his friends and family. The gunman, who also lived in Dunedin, has pled guilty to the murder of 51 people and will be sentenced in the Christchurch High Court in 2 weeks' time. Could the best toasted sandwich in New Zealand come from Dunedin? A home-style meatloaf toastie is being served up at a local eatery.
A Dunedin chef is confident he's making the best toasted sandwich in the nation. Hungry Hobo's owner, Romeo Dowling Mitchell, created the bat out of hell toasted sandwich in his George Street eatery. He says he was chuffed when told last week his sandwich was one of 12 finalists in the annual Great New Zealand Toastie Takeover, especially finding out about the competition when it had already finished last year.
I found out about it last year, but it was after it had all finished. I was like, best toasted sandwich in New Zealand, it popped up on my newsfeed, and I was like, oh, how come I wasn't entered in that?
His sandwich ingredients include homemade meatloaf, hence its name, creamy mashed potato, gravy, pickles and aged cheddar, toasted between herb-buttered ciabatta. His toasted sandwich was comfort food rather than something with potentially pretentious ingredients.
And with all my stuff, my soups and my sandwiches, there's a massive focus on flavours and textures rather than so much the presentation I'm about, I think if you get the flavours and the textures right, the food will almost garnish itself.
This month, a mystery judge would travel across New Zealand to find the best toastie.
One guy came in with a clear file, and we're like, could it be that guy? But then he was getting it to take away, and we're like, would the judge, get it take away? And then there were all these little theories that we had about, we'd just play around and have a laugh about it, but we'd always make sure that but I mean, with every sandwich anyway, we always make sure it's bang on.
Next year, he says he might jazz up one of his veggie toasties for the competition. In Dunedin, the South Today.
You can usually set your watch to it, but for now, if you're relying on Dunedin's Octagon clock, you might find yourself running a wee bit late. The 140-year-old Municipal Chambers clock is running up to 6 minutes fast as it goes through what experts call fluttering. The City Council says due to the age of the landmark, it has minor issues which need to be seen to every now and then. A technician is working with the council to rectify the issue, and until a permanent fix is found, it will be reset every day. Due to the clock's age and complexity, there are only 2 people in the South Island who were able to work on it. Uncertainty is a familiar feeling at Frankton Golf Centre, not just for those trying the sport for the first time, but for those worried about the future of the driving range. A new transport plan for Queenstown suggests the end may finally be nigh, 9 years after the last reprieve.
For the future of Frankton's busy public golf course is under threat from the town's expansion, which may mean the course has to move.
The future really looks a little bit bleak for the Frankton Golf Club. There is no decision being made around what happens with it, but we all know that traffic is pre-COVID was an absolute nightmare coming into town, and so there needs to be some improvements made around this area.
The resort town's transport plan identifies the land as potentially necessary for future infrastructure development, and also suggests other pieces of land which might house the sport in the region.
So look, the Frankton Master Plan identified the Shotover Delta as an option. We're currently working through a process around potential locations across the basin, and also looking at the type of product that we offer for golf as well. Does it have to be a 9-hole golf course? Could it just be a driving range? Could it be a pitch and putt? Could it be a 6-hole?
Queenstown Lakes District Council Sport and Recreation Manager Simon Batrick says although it's a blow to the sport, it could also be an opportunity.
Absolutely. I think the type of facilities we're able to get is we're able to future-proof really what we want to do for the future of golf. But it is a real opportunity to actually find a really good location, provide something that actually meets the needs of our local residents.
This week, a joint New Zealand Transport Agency, Queenstown Lakes District Council and Otago Regional Council transport plan suggested the golf course could give way to bus lanes and a transport hub. In Queenstown, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today, a mystery continues at a Dunedin auction house, and we bring you the latest in our You Choose 2020 political series.
All new episodes of Put Some Colour in Your Life are now screening on Channel 39. Take a look at Australian artists and the techniques they use in their studio. Put Some Colour in Your Life, Tuesdays, 7:30.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life. Heaven Sent Pet Cremations knows that losing a pet is like losing a family member, and we have many special ways for you to keep their memory dear to your heart. From caskets, remembrance pendants to remembrance fairs. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today. Wrens are Otago's painting, tiling and plastering experts. Offering a free measure and quote, Wrens is a name you can trust to get the job done right. Call Wrens today on 477 9384 or visit wrens.co.nz.
Do you know Youth Grow in North East Valley? It's an awesome plant nursery where young people can work and learn life skills. You can now order your vegetable seedlings, herbs, bulbs and shrubs over the phone or by email. Either pick up your order on Norwood Street in North East Valley or they can deliver to you. Look for Youth Grow Garden Centre on Facebook or visit youthgrow.org.nz. Happy gardening!
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
Welcome back. It may go against the grain to admit it, but Hayward's auction house is still uncertain about the exact function of a mysterious item sold by auction last weekend. While many suggestions have been put forward as to what it is, none of them quite fit.
This 2-metre-long spire went under the hammer in Dunedin on Sunday, with neither the seller nor the buyer knowing exactly what it was.
Now usually when we have an item like this, someone will tell us what it is over the course of the weeks leading up, but we've tapped the brains or the collective knowledge of every regular at the auction and no one knows what it is.
Several people have suggested it was used to drive holes into piles of grain to help aerate the grain and keep the temperature down. And indeed, it does have a rural pedigree.
It was picked up from the old Waikawaiti train station, but originally it came from a farm, Abbott's Farm in the Tairi. It was sold by Hayward's Auction House about 10 years ago.
And Hayward's Auction House remains keen to find out what it really is.
If anyone has any ideas, we would greatly appreciate any knowledge you can give us.
The mystery item sold for $200 to a local buyer. In Dunedin, the South today.
When New Zealanders go to the polls next month, they'll have plenty of decisions to make. Over the next few weeks, we will bring you instalments from Channel 39's community-produced You Choose 2020 series, so you can be better informed on both local and national political discussions. Tonight's segment will focus on enrolment and what to do if you still haven't registered to vote.
In this election, we're all going to be making a couple of extra choices alongside our party and electoral votes. Before we even begin to think about which way we'll vote though, there's something we have to consider. Are we able to? The Electoral Commission is well aware of the number of people not yet registered to vote, and it's Rachel McAnally's job to encourage Kiwis to get enrolled.
People need to get enrolled now because we close the roll on the 16th of August, which means when it comes time to voting, if you're already up to date before the 16th of August, it means that you can place an ordinary vote rather than a special vote. So this will make your experience in the voting place a lot faster if you can place an ordinary vote. It's going to make for a very busy election for us, holding the election plus also 2 referendums, but people will be able to go in and make their choice then. So all the information around what the referendums mean for people have been in their confirmation of the enrolment details pack. So if you've received it, open it, check it out, all the information's in there. If you haven't received your pack by the beginning of August, then you'd be wanting to get online to check to see if you're up to date or not. If you can't find yourself, that means we haven't got you currently up to date at that address. So if you're not up to date, to get yourself up to date now, you can check online at vote.nz It's a really easy process. You can do this by using your driver's licence, your passport or your Real Me account. It makes it really easy. Once advance voting starts on the 5th of September, right through the 19th of September, you're able to enrol and vote at the same time. However, that would be a special vote that you would be placing, which takes a little bit longer. If you were enrolled and up to date beforehand, it takes 30 seconds as opposed to about 16 minutes. So it's in everybody's best interest to have everybody up to date. When people receive their update packs, which hopefully they open to see all the wonderful information inside, they'll be able to see on that letter what electorate they're in. If you haven't received that, get online and get yourself updated. You can ring us on 0800 367656 and we can send you out a form, and you can even text your name and address to 3676 and we can send you out some letters from that as well to make sure you're up to date. Checking is really easy now. So last year we updated our systems to be able to update with your driver's licence and passport and Real Me as mentioned earlier. So you can go onto vote.nz and you can check to see if you're enrolled, and if you're not enrolled you can then update your details using those forms of ID. They're a really fantastic way of updating because it cross-checks your credentials straight away, which means that you don't have to get something out, sign and send it back. You can just be updated straight away.
And we'll bring you the next instalment of You Choose 2020 in tomorrow night's bulletin, or alternatively you can watch the first full episode at odt.co.nz. After the break on the South Today, we hear the latest updates on the Tiwai Point aluminium smelter, and we check out tomorrow's weather.
All new episodes of Put Some Colour in Your Life are now screening on Channel 39. Take a look at Australian artists and the techniques they use in their studio. Put Some Colour in Your Life, Tuesdays, 7:30.
Do you know Youth Grow in North East Valley? It's an awesome plant nursery where young people can work and learn life skills. You can now order your vegetable seedlings, herbs, bulbs and shrubs over the phone or by email. Either pick up your order on Norwood Street in North East Valley or they can deliver to you. Look for Youth Grow Garden Centre on Facebook or visit youthgrow.org.nz. Happy gardening!
Shall I make some scones?
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Wrens are Otago's painting, tiling and plastering experts. Offering a free measure and quote, Wrens is a name you can trust to get the job done right. Call Wrens today on 477 9384 or visit wrens.co.nz. Heaven Sent Pet Cremations knows that losing a pet is like losing a family member, and we have many special ways for you to keep their memory dear to your heart. From caskets, remembrance pendants to remembrance spheres. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
Ah, TV, our favourite babysitter. But it can be tough keeping up with what our tamariki are watching. Luckily, the Broadcasting Standards Authority has made some smart changes to the classification labels. Ooh! Plus changes to the time of day certain rated shows will air, and awesome new parental lock features, meaning your babysitter's job is safe. Find out more at safeviewing.co.nz.
Inside are all sorts of innovations from all over China.
Welcome back. Electricity generator Meridian says it's still expecting the Tiwai Point aluminium smelter to close down mid-next year, but it has been confirmed that a fresh offer to delay remains on the table. Meridian says it has put forward a confidential proposal to allow the smelter to stay open for a longer period of time. Meridian has proposed a delay of up to 4 years. This follows speculation by analysts that hydro dams would have to spill water for several years. The water spilling would be due to constraints in electricity transmission. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. The roof of Dunedin St Paul's Cathedral has been extensively damaged by a fire in the early hours of the morning. A toasted sandwich named after an over-the-top 1970s pop song could be in the running to be the best in the country. And Frankton's public golf course could be set to move if its land is needed for transport. And time now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Hayden.
Good evening, Sophie.
Good
How
evening.
are you?
Very good. Yourself?
Good, good. Lots of interesting news around today. Obviously, we've seen some of the footage of the St Paul's Cathedral fire this morning. Our Stephen Jackery, as he always is, was on the end of a camera at some early hour of the morning. We've got some stunning photos of that, and we've got the very latest on what they think might have happened. And the prognosis for getting the cathedral patched up. A huge part of the city, obviously. A lot of interest in what's going to happen there. So, and the other story with I know that's going to have huge interest announced today, that Smith City moving from Andy Bay Road in Dunedin into the empty, and it is completely empty. We've got a photo. It looks completely empty. The empty Kmart site in the Meridian. So that's probably part one of the story. There'll be a lot of interest in that. And of course part two, which everybody is desperately keen to find out, what about Kmart?
Right.
There's of course lots of speculation of where Kmart might be going. So we'll have all the very latest on that from Jacob in our business department. Some other interesting yarns. There's a hearing down in South Otago about a publican who might lose his liquor licence. There'll be some real interest in that in the regions. Helen Clark is in Dunedin today, former Prime Minister Helen Clark, delivering a talk at the Dorothy Fraser lecture tonight, so we're having a catch up with Helen. A cracking photo of a dog agility show today. Who doesn't love a good photo of a dog? It's a very pretty photo of a lovely dog.
Lovely.
And great news for cricket fans. Our sports department have got a bit of a look at what's going on with cricket on the radio. Confirmation today that a deal has finally been struck to have international and some domestic cricket back on the radio. The sounds of summer, and given the weather today, I think it's going to be a great summer with lots of cricket on the radio, Sophie. Fingers crossed. So
perfect.
All that and heaps more of good stuff, including part two of our big series looking at the cannabis referendum, which should be very well read.
Thank you, Hayden. All of that and much more in tomorrow's ODT. And time now for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Starting with the city view, clear blue sky over the church on Church Road in Mosgiel. Looking at the situation, cold for the rest of the week with a few showers at times near the coast, but mostly fine weather inland. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth and Westport can expect clear blue skies, 16 for Greymouth and 14 for Westport. Across to the northeast, Nelson and Blenheim can expect partial clouds and 13 degrees. In Canterbury, Kaikoura, Christchurch and Ashburton head for 11 degrees with cloudy skies. To the southern towns, The Catlins, Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore can expect moderate southwesterlies, showers and 8 degrees. In Central, expect light winds and fine weather across the area. Wanaka heads for 10 degrees, Queenstown 9, Alexandra 11 and Tiano 9. To the northern towns, light winds and some cloud on the coast with 13 degrees for Timaru and 11 for Oamaru. Inland light winds and fine conditions for Twizel and Omarama with 11 degrees. In Dunedin, some showers tonight with southwesterlies and an overnight low of 6. Showers at first tomorrow, clearing during the morning and cloud breaking, but some more light showers in the late afternoon. Light winds, a high of 9 and a low of 4. Overcast with showers on Thursday, some sleet on the hills. Moderate southwesterlies, a high of 6 and a low of 2. And in Invercargill, cloudy tonight with an overnight low of 5. Cloud breaking and long sunny periods developing tomorrow with moderate cold southwesterlies dying out and some evening showers. A high of 8 and a low of 4. Wintry showers at first on Thursday with some sleet, but showers clearing during the day. Very cold with moderate southwesterlies, a high of 6 and a low of 2. That's all for our news this Tuesday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz or follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.